Previously on Eyes Wide Open under the Jaw.
Say it twice. For 2 of your days now, I have been looking for a host body for reasons that go far beyond any human concerns. I need a body to welcome me and serve me. You seem to be suitable. I've tested 7 humans before you and rejected them all. But your body is clean. You come from the past. 30 years of hibernation. Your body won't reject me. We are compatible. Where is it gone? I'll never be able to move. That's right. Without me, you won't be able to move. And by the way, from now on, you won't be able to do much of anything without me. I accept that I'm not dead now. But I hope I'm dreaming this. Please, God, let this be a nightmare. Let this all be a nightmare. You believe in God? I don't even have that to fall back on. I suggest you believe in me, Nicopola. Choice. I'm afraid not. Now rise and walk.
in out in the crowd. He was a carpenter. He was, in effect, a working man. If he never stood out in the crowd, if you see this, wow, this guy is 6 foot, he's a rock star.
You're saying you don't buy it?
No. The Catholic Church doesn't, well, officially buy it. They've never acknowledged it. They don't disavow it, but they certainly embrace it. It is, well, it certainly helps the faith.
But you know the modern advances in DNA and things we can do today never thought possible. 10 years ago, don't you think they could find something with this boy?
Oh, I think it's fascinating. I think it would be terrific. I support science in doing it. Are we, in effect, helping prophecy along? I think it would discredit the church. Does God need human beings, science, to, well, bring about their Savior?
But if you're a believer in God, wouldn't you say God made it possible for us to clone?
If we were to clone this human being, you're only talking about the hard drive, the body, but not the individual that animated, be it that man, Jesus. It would be fascinating, but it certainly would not be their Savior.
Or the Antichrist?
Oh, well, I think it certainly could serve with all of this mythology and all this fear-based mentality about needing a bad guy so that the good guy could fight against. But yes, an Antichrist would absolutely serve that agenda. I think Machiavellian dynamic could absolutely be served.
Does any of this frighten you?
Both hands and wrong hands. I think those that are caught up in emotion, this absolutely could be used. This scapegoat of an Antichrist could be thwarted, and frankly, the real bad guy would be the one in charge.
Moses, not one jot, nor one tittle, till heaven and earth shall pass away. No one must change or alter the law, for anyone that does so is the least in the sight of God. That's what Jesus said. Now Paul said he came with a new covenant. Paul said he came with a New Testament. Paul said he came to the Gentiles, and that they no longer had to, those that followed Paul, they no longer had to observe the law of Moses. What was the law of Moses? The 10 Commandments. They no longer had to. They could eat pig's meat. The Jewish people today, following the law of Moses, they can't eat pig's meat. So how could Paul change that law and tell them they could eat pig's meat? Paul said they didn't have to circumcise. All Muslims, all Jews, all of those that follow the prophets are circumcised. How is it that Paul said they don't have to be circumcised? Paul said they didn't have to observe the Sabbath. Now, the Sabbath is one of the commandments, one of the 10 commandments. And Jesus said, when they asked him about, Jesus said, do you know which is the greatest of all the commandments? What commandments was he talking about? He's talking about the commandments of Moses. He said, do you know which is the greatest commandment? Jesus said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy mind and all thy soul. This is what Jesus said was the first of the commandments. Because that commandment from Moses was, hear ye, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. And thou shalt not worship anyone except the Lord thy God. And thou shalt not bow down to any graven images in the heavens or in the earth or in the sea below. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God, and thou shalt not worship any gods along with him. That was the first of the commandments. But Paul said we didn't have to observe that commandment. And it was through the epistles of Paul that Constantine later on, 300 years later, he decided to reconcile this new Jesus at the Council of Nicaea To be specific, in the year 354, it was Constantine that reconciled Paul's Jesus from the historical Jesus and decided that he would go with Paul's Jesus and kill everybody else. And that's where the Trinity was born. That's where the incarnate God was born. That's where the atonement was born. That's where the idea of Jesus Christ being crucified, dead and buried for 3 days and coming back was born. This is where the idea of Jesus being God was born, because Constantine accepted that idea. Because Constantine had already deified his father as sollt evictus. And that's how December the 25th became the birthday of Jesus, although Jesus could not have been born December 25th, because that would have been the winter in Lebanon. And anyone here that is from Lebanon will tell you September the 25th is probably snow in the ground. So why would they have a baby in the manger when there's snow on the ground? But that was the date of the sollt evictus. And that's when they changed the Sabbath from Saturday, from Yom al-Sabt. All the Arabs in this room know Yom al-Sabt, the Sabbath is Saturday. So how did the day of worship for the Christians become Sunday? Because that was the day of the worshiping of the sun. And that's the day that Constantine worshiped. And that's where they took the name of Jesus and changed the Sabbath and made it into Sunday. And moon day, Monday, and Tuesday, another God, and Wednesday, another God, and Thursday, another God, and Friars Day, another God. All gods of the Romans and the Greeks. What did that have to do with Jesus Christ? Absolutely nothing. So a new covenant was born through Paul and the collaboration and the official documentation of Constantine, who then assigned an official bishop of Rome. That bishop of Rome became the official pontiff of the Catholic Church. And so today, that's why the Pope is called the Pontiff. He's called the shadow of God on earth. Whose shadow? Whose God? The God of Paul, the God of Constantine. Certainly not the God of Jesus. Now Paul, through his writings, set up a nefarious situation that virtually stamped out, wiped out, imprisoned, tortured, killed, eliminated all of the Unitarians, because those that followed Jesus Christ were called Unitarians. That means they were subscribing to one God. And what happened to the Unitarians? They were thrown to the lions. They were thrown to the lions until they were gradually eliminated. Then Constantine made Christianity the official religion. Why? Because he made a distinction between the Nazarenes and the Christians.
Ancient astronaut theorists believe the Bible doesn't tell the whole story. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, a series of ancient texts, known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, were discovered in a cave located in what is now Israel's West Bank. Among the ancient writings are various stories not found in the traditional Hebrew Bible. One such story tells of Noah and his strange, miraculous birth.
One of the Dead Sea Scrolls is called the Lamech Scroll. What is Lamech? Lamech was a shepherd. And one day Lamech, his woman, was pregnant. And he said to her, "This is impossible. I was not here for months." But his woman, with the name Batenosh, swears, "No one touched me." But Lamech doesn't believe his wife Batenosh, and he goes to his father, which was Methuselah. And Methuselah says to Lamech, "I can't help you. I don't understand this. I believe your women, Batenosh, that nobody touched her, and I believe you. So what should I do?" So Methuselah goes to his father, the grandfather now of Lamech. His name is Enoch. Now Enoch tells to Methuselah that the guardians of the sky have made an artificial insemination into the womb of Batenosh, the wife, and he should accept this child because this child would be the father of a new human generation. And in the Bible, this is Noah.